So what is up, guys? Nick here, helping you to master your technology. Galaxy S25 Ultra versus the S24 Ultra after a year. Has this upgrade been worth it? Is upgrading it now still worth it? If you've been holding out, you're seeing, okay, S26 Ultra's coming soon. It's probably going to get a discount. I'm going to cop that S25 Ultra soon. Or maybe you're still debating if you want to upgrade now because you're seeing discounts already. Well, let's talk about it here after ownership experience of both. For a long time, I've been trading in my Ultras. That's why you don't see a lot of S23 Ultra long-term reviews on the channel, S22 Ultra long-term, S21. But when I got the S24 Ultra, I decided to stop trading it in because this was my favorite one of all time. I feel like this was peak Ultra right here. It basically had the iconic shape of what we're used to with the Note line and the Ultra line now. It had the Bluetooth S Pen titanium build, beautiful screen, super fast, great cameras, 200 megapixel. Overall, this just felt like peak luxury Ultra Samsung right here. And a lot of people absolutely love this device. But a year later, I gotta say, when it comes to design and build, the S25 Ultra has been my pick. It just feels better in the hand, regardless if it doesn't look better to a lot of people. And I don't like these smudges. Let me go ahead and wipe those off. Regardless if it doesn't look better to a lot of people, probably because of those camera rings, maybe because it just kind of has a more, less like pointy look on the edges. It kind of looks a little bit polished. It might not be everybody's cup of tea, but personally, I think it just feels so much nicer to hold in the hand versus this one. Does it make a big difference when you're rocking a smooth case? Not really. But a year later, I got to say that, design and build, I definitely think it's worth it. The S25 Ultra, I would do the upgrade if you care about how a phone feels in the hand, especially if you use it with just a skin or without a case. If you use them with a case, it's probably not a big deal because both of them are going to have more whatever the case you bought feels like. Now, when it comes to display quality, the S25 Ultra has also been better for a couple of reasons. Number one, it does have a similar brightness, but it doesn't have that grain issue at the lower brightness. And because of its better anti-reflective properties, which this one already had, these are a little bit better with the glass on here is a little better. It does have a slightly better feel outdoors. It also has a better PWM rate, while nowhere near as good as Chinese devices. It is a little bit higher than previous Samsung phones, so it's a little bit better, easier to see at night than maybe like the S24 Ultra. Also, I don't have any of those green screen line issues. And of course, you still have the same edge panels support. Overall, the displays aren't really super different in real world practice day to day. But because the grain issue was fixed on the S25 Ultra, better PWM and better anti-reflection, even better than the S24 Ultra, I got to say it's the better phone. They do have like that same small punch hole though, but I would pick this one for display. Is it worth dropping a big amount on this, like the trade-in value? Probably not if you're just looking for display, but if you care about display and you want other aspects of the S25 Ultra, I think it's a solid change. Now, one of the areas which never really bugged me over my long-term use with the S24 Ultra and still doesn't to this day is performance. This thing performs incredibly well, and I don't really have any major issues with it. Even when you're doing more heavier tasks, it easily handles video editing. It can easily handle, pretty much anything you need to do with split screens. It even handles the AI features incredibly well. S Pen works phenomenal. So it really doesn't have anything to talk about bad about it. However, I do feel like one little thing is different about the S25 Ultra. It just feels slightly zippier. I don't know how to describe it. Just day to day, it just seems to pop things open just a little bit snappier. It's very minute. It's very small. But this one has had zero lag, zero reboots since day one. This thing has never rebooted on me. As a matter of fact, I can't even remember an app ever crashing on me. This phone has been super This phone has been super stable since I've purchased it. So I'm very impressed with the quality of performance that Samsung has on the S25 Ultra. Only makes me more excited for the S26 Ultra, as we'll see if that can outshine, and maybe they'll go 16 gigs of RAM standard. But really what you're going to find is a higher clock speed CPU, same RAM, but just the newer CPU is just a little bit better than the old one per usual. Truth is though, in real world practice, both of them are fine, but S25 Ultra, just again, a little bit zippier for pretty much all tasks. I also found it does better with heat management than the S24 Ultra, but it's not substantial. They both do have vapor chambers, but I found this one just can handle it a little bit better. So if you play a lot of games, both of them are strong, but if you care about heat more, go with the S25 Ultra. It does a little bit better in that aspect. So one area that I'm just kind of like not super impressed with Samsung is the battery life on the S25 Ultra versus S24 Ultra. While efficiency gains probably gave this a little slightly better battery life, it is nothing noticeable. This phone is still one of those phones that can go through a heavy day of use, but not an extreme heavy day, and definitely not into a second day. This is a every night charge kind of phone for the typical power user of a S20 series Ultra devices. S24 Ultra was also one of those phones that I was like charging more than I expected, especially being the price that it cost. So Samsung keeping this 5,000 cell around and hoping the efficiency gains are going to make up for the fact that it's not a silicon carbon battery, or it's just not a bigger lithium ion battery. I don't know. I think it's a safe choice. And seeing the history of what happened, we know what happened with the Note line years ago. Definitely, I think they're being cautious, but at the same time, they are definitely falling behind, I think, in overall competition when it comes to the battery life. They're good enough. Let's put it back. That's how I would describe these phones for battery. They're good enough, but they don't blow you away. These are all day phones, but they ain't going more than a day. So that's the only con. That takes out that ultra feeling of it, because when I use something like a OnePlus 15 or even a 13 or even other phones with those bigger batteries, even the iPhone 17 Pro Max is kind of, I'm like, this is the ultra phone, but it doesn't give me the ultra battery life I'm looking for. So I don't think it's worth upgrading from your S24 Ultra to S25 Ultra if you think you're going to get some massive battery change. That didn't happen for me. I've tried to adapt the battery throughout my use throughout the year, and it didn't really ever change. And that's one of the reasons why it's tough for me to make this my primary, because if it needs to be my primary phone, it needs to be destroying everybody in the battery life. Do you agree with that or not? Down below, let me know. Cameras. Now, when we talk about cameras, I would say, yeah, I'd go with the S25 Ultra for the camera. It tends to process images better. It does have the better log video recording. You now have that in S24 Ultra as well. But overall, the results just come out a little bit better. It has a few more AI stuff you can do with it in the camera. Audio erasers. I think they brought some of those AI features over to the S24 Ultra though, but generally they haven't really been massively improving the camera. They use some of the similar sensors on here, but the way it processes images, they tend to turn out a little bit better. However, again, this is always going to come down to kind of the same take. You still have 100 times zoom. You can even go 10x optical here on the S24 Ultra. You also have the log recording is available in future updates that came to S24 Ultra. So this phone right here just really is a very strong offering still, the Galaxy S24 Ultra. And it's kind of hard to see the difference until you peek, but I do find the front-facing camera a little better on the Samsung S25 Ultra and the rears, but they're not like so substantial over this past year that I felt like it was a majorly worthy upgrade. Let's put it that way. I do think that if you stick with your S24 Ultra for a little while, maybe till the S26 Ultra gets here, I think you'll be just fine. That phone's coming soon anyway. But this wasn't blowing me away. Was better, but not really blowing me away in camera upgrades. They do kind of a lot of the same similar things. When it comes to updates, both of these are still very well supported. Samsung's still giving you updates, of course, for a really long time on S24 Ultra. And really, the software is exactly the same. It's kind of feeling like pretty much all other smartphone makers where they kind of give you similar software, even if the phone's a few years old. So I love that for the S24 Ultra users. And coming over here, you're not going to find a substantially different experience in that department. Where you will find the difference is there is a couple more AI features, but how much do you use the AI? That's really going to be up to you. If we scroll through here, a lot of them are similar, but you do have a few small ones. They're not found here within the Galaxy AI settings or in some other areas of the phone. Most of them, though, all the core ones are kind of the same thing. So really, S25 Ultra, S24 Ultra, you got great AI. The S24 Ultra was ahead of its time for the AI. And of course, they both integrate Gemini just fine. So I gotta say, not worth the upgrade. It wasn't worth it for me for any AI type stuff. The S24 Ultra was already doing that. Where it was a downgrade though, actually, was the S Pen. The S Pen, I do miss the Bluetooth functionality of the S Pen on the S24 Ultra, mostly for like that camera feature where it like Bluetooths your S Pen and allows you to snap photos and stuff like that. Especially when you're like trying to set it up as a quick like, hold on, let me bring this one out here. If you go to the camera, you used to be able to snap photos. You can't do that anymore. Like I don't like that. Over here on the S24 Ultra, let's go ahead and do it again. I could double click this, flip the camera around, double click it again. I mean, come on, man, bring that back. Like, why'd you take that out of there? This is like super not cool. So if you like those little things that this S Pen could do on the S24 Ultra, this one is just more like a note taker and just a drawing tool for, you know, the pen up community on the S25 Ultra. So and you can still sign documents, so I still like that it's there. I don't want them to go away from it, but I don't like how it lost features. That was just not cool. Definite no upgrade if you care about S Pen. That's actually a backward step here. Now, one thing that actually is better on the S25 Ultra, we don't hear a lot about it a lot, but the audio is actually richer. It sounds a little bit better at the higher volumes, but it's not like this one was bad. They both have Dolby Atmos support. This one's still good. It comes out a little bit better on the S25 Ultra. You always want to see hardware improvements, especially when you're paying this kind of money. And speakerphone calls and stuff of that sort were clear, a little bit better on the S25 Ultra. But again, not like substantially better, but is noticeable. Over here, we do have ourselves great phone call quality on both, and I couldn't see any difference with reception. As a matter of fact, sometimes I was getting better strength on the S24 Ultra at sometimes of the day. So yeah, probably not worth the upgrade there either. Definitely not. So daily hand feel. S25 Ultra feels much better in the hand. It feels like a polished version of the S24 Ultra. However, it's not as iconic looking with its non-pointy corners. I don't know. The S24 Ultra just looks legendary. I don't know how to describe it. It looks like peak Samsung right here. So for me, this looks more unique. It looks very Samsung, and I do like that. It gives it a unique feel. My verdict though is that, is it worth upgrading? It's not a must upgrade, and I think you're actually going to miss some stuff from the S24 Ultra. But if you find this on a deal, you're ready to go to, maybe your battery's not as strong as it once was, you just need a new phone, you want more polish, the S25 Ultra is a solid upgrade for you. It's going to be better than this a little bit in pretty much all areas, but it's just not that major upgrade. Those year-over-year upgrades are a little bit tough, and over a year, again, if I was not doing reviews, I would definitely still hold on with the S24 Ultra. We'll see if that changes though with the S26 Ultra. So be subscribed. I'm going to do comparisons to both of these, to the S26 Ultra. We'll do speed tests and actual comparisons. Maybe we'll do some photo comparisons as well. But a year later, kind of similar phones here, with the S25 Ultra being more polished, a little snappier, and a little better cameras. Similar battery life with a slightly worse S Pen. Not much in it here. S24 Ultra holding on very good. So let me know your thoughts on this one down below in the comments. If you had the S24 Ultra, went to the S25 Ultra, missed it, liked the upgrade, let us know your thoughts down below. If you have, if you're still planning on it, you still have questions, drop those down below as well. And I'll catch you all in the next one. Nick here. Have a great weekend. Be sure to be well, and peace.